Cowboys plus 1.5 at the Bears. The wrong team is favored here. I know the Bears have new coach Ben Johnson, but fade this team until the wheels fall off. Caleb Williams is not an NFL starting quarterback.
Picked up. Oh, Williams has a man wide open. He's got it. Touchdown, Odunze. They get a flea flicker. It's way up there. Williams recovers, throws a seed, has a man. It is caught for a touchdown. Luther Burden's. Williams firing. Got it. Pressure. Throws. Caught. Touchdown.
He's not. Give me the Saints plus 7.5 on the road in Seattle.
Darnold throws, and he's got a man. Touchdown! Down the sideline! And it's a touchdown! Here's Walker. Kenneth Walker fighting forward and stretching for the goal line. He is in. Darnold back to the air, throwing end zone for Horton. Touchdown! Walker following his fullback, Oots, and Walker is in again for a touchdown.
I think that Spencer Rattler has looked better than expected.
Rattler pressure coming, gets away from Hall. Trying to direct traffic, takes a shot, throws, picked off by Kendrick.
I think the Saints offense has more weapons than people have given them credit for between Olave.
Rattler throwing left, and it's nearly intercepted.
Alvin Kamara.
Rolling right, throwing deep. Kamara is open, incomplete.
Shaheed.
Rattler play fake, throwing, and it is incomplete.
This team has got enough pieces that I think they can keep this a one-score game. Week 3 of the Antoine and Friends fantasy football season is officially in the books, and what a dazzling finale it was, with 5 of the 7 games being played coming down to Monday Night Football. Only one of them was close. We'll get to that in a bit, but first, 3 teams came into the week 2-0. 3 teams leave the week 3-0. Cup this Chubb doing it the hard way. His second game of the year, winning with less than 100 points scored. And Garth Mall in her second consecutive game of the week. She's 2-0 this season in games of the week against Danny's boys. And it really came down to 2 plays on the defense. First up, it's late in the first quarter. Jake Browning looking around, gets hit as he throws, and there's Isaiah Rodgers, man on the spot. He's going to run this one back all the way for an 87-yard house call. Pick 6, Isaiah Rodgers. Vikings up 14. Then, just before half, dumps it off to the outside, and it's another forced fumble, and it's Isaiah Rodgers again. Browning to beat, and he smokes him. Touchdown, Vikings. And with those 16 points by Isaiah Rodgers, who had the highest rated single game performance by a player in the history of PFF with a 99.9, his 16 points on those 2 plays gives Garth Mall the 15-point win over Danny's boys. An unbelievable 30 points from the Minnesota DST in a game that many expected the Bengals to win. 3 teams also came into week 3 at 0-2. 2 of them won their games, but Titties McGee drops a very close game on Monday night against Otto Pickens. He needed 1 catch from Sam Laporta in the fourth quarter and did not get it. So what ultimately ended up being the deciding play in this game? Well, there's a few to choose from, but for my money, this is the one that really gave Otto Pickens the win. Late third quarter, 4th down. Caleb Williams ends up going for it, and DJ Moore standing at the back of the end zone. Up 10 on 4th down. You know what Ben Johnson must have been saying to himself. 2-score lead.
This isn't cool. You know what's cool? You.
3-score lead.
That shut everybody up.
Titty Majiggy is now one of 2 teams in the league that has failed to score 100 points in a game so far this year. Who's the other team? Well, it's Hot to Bo, who faced off against the now undefeated Cup this Chubb. It was a pretty struggle of a matchup. Hot to Bo had every chance to win this game, even after losing CeeDee Lamb. But Baltimore Ravens, she would have done better not starting a defense at all. Even worse, The other defense in this game, the Detroit Lions, were available at kickoff on the waiver wire, and they scored enough points where they would have given her the win. Alas, it was not meant to be. Looking at the other side of this roster, is Cup This Chubb on fraud alert? Again, this is his second game that he has won with less than 100 points in the victory. However, he did just make what might be the trade of the season, dishing Tua's mangled body and a backup rookie running back for Matt Stafford and Devontae Adams, who is looking as good as ever. For this next game, the only thing I've written in my notes is an insult to football. That would be Megatron versus Wallamater. Megatron narrowly avoiding beating Wallamater's record for lowest points scored in a game this season. Wallamater only had 57 in week 1. Megatron squeaking by that with 60 in week 3 here. Megatron had only one player score over 10 points. His wide receiver 1, Ricky Pearsall. Megatron drafted 2 QBs in the first 3 rounds of the draft, and yet he is still starting Michael Penix here in week 3, who put up 3 points in a shutout performance against the Panthers. It's a long season, but I went 0-4 last season before making the playoffs and eventually getting 3rd place. Maybe something similar will happen to you. I don't think it will, but it might. Make Love Not Warcraft eked out his first win of the season against Rat Boys to Men off the back of a Seattle return touchdown on special teams, followed by an Omarion Hampton rushing touchdown on the goal line to give him the just under 9-point win. Last but not least is 666 against Maybe Your Double Champ. This one looked like it was going to be a nail biter early on when Derrick Henry broke out in the first quarter of Monday Night Football with a 28-yard rushing score. But Amon-Ra St. Brown put this game away with a touchdown in the 3rd quarter to give 666 the pretty handy win. Looking ahead to week 4, we've got some exciting matchups coming up this week. First of all, it's clobbering time down in Calorama. We've got Rat Boys to Men against Just Ice. On paper, Just Ice should win this game, but Rat Boys has played strong through 3 weeks. He hasn't scored less than 98 points in a game, and he's already matched his season-long win projection from the computer. It's all house money from here. Can Rat Boys get the upset over Just Ice? Next, we've got Wallamater against Maybe Your Double Champ. Now, Maybe Your Double Champ, I said was the best team in the league going into week 1, and he was promptly cursed, starting 1-2 on the year. But the real question here isn't whether Maybe Your Double Champ can overcome the commentator's curse. It is whether Wallamater can stop what seems to be a very, very steep skid. It's more of a slide. It's more of a drop off a cliff. It's more of a sinking into an abyss. Wallamater has had the least amount of points in a week this season. He is averaging less than 100 points a game. He is doing terribly, but he did get a win last week against a pitiful Megatron squad. The key for Wallamater this season is going to be, can Jake Browning and T. Higgins get some kind of connection going to salvage this season? It starts this week against the Denver Broncos. Pat Surtain was treated like a gosh dang supervillain by Jamar Chase in training camp this year. Him and Chad Ochocinco and all the receivers trying to figure out how to beat this guy. Well, with Surtain shutting down half the field every given week, teams have been targeting Riley Moss, and T. Higgins is going to be the beneficiary of the Riley Moss matchup this week. He should be getting a ton of looks, and if he doesn't, oh boy, it's going to be a long one for Wallamater. Next up, we have Titty Jiggy against Make Love Not Warcraft in the latest installment of the Brother Bowl. Gaines Bros are the only brothers with a winning record so far this season at 4-2. The Fox Bros are down at 2-4, and the Boondock Saints are bringing up the caboose at 1-5. This is a massive matchup to try and climb out of the hole for one of these two brother pairs. Which of them is going to get the dub here in week 4? Next, we have Cup This Chubb against Auto Pickens. We already talked about how Cup This Chubb is on fraud watch, but it looks like he's going to get at least one more win coming into this week with Auto Pickens already without a running back too. He's playing Tyler Algier, starting Tyler Algier. And Cup This Chubb is looking like a whole new team after making this trade with Tinny McFligiditz. This is going to be one to watch. but I think Cup this Chubb is going to walk away with another win and be one of those top 2 teams at 4-0 coming out of this week. Then we have 666 against Hot to Bow. Hot to Bow trying to get her first 100-point week. It's going to be tough when you've lost your star player in CeeDee Lamb. Are you going to go get Calvin Austin or Trey Tucker or Romeo Dobbs or Khalil Shakir? Sounds like some fabulous options, right? Oh, you're just spoiled for choice on the waiver wire, aren't you? Well, at least you're not 666, who just lost his second QB in Russell Wilson and is looking at starting Jackson Dart or cobbling together some kind of flex down the rest of the way. Who's going to win this one? I don't know, but I do know that the loser is going to be feeling like their prospects for the rest of the season are not looking so bueno. Next, it's Danny's boys against Megatron. This is technically a game. It's technically being played this week. This one is pretty straightforward for me. I'm taking Josh Allen and Jonathan Taylor to beat Ricky Pearsall and Chuba Hubbard. And yes, I double-checked. The top scoring people on Megatron's team are Ricky Pearsall and Chuba Hubbard. Give me Danny's boys. And finally, the battle of the undefeated, the matchup of the week, Garth Mall's third consecutive matchup of the week this season. It's 1 versus 2. It's me versus her, husband versus wife, wife versus husband. And I don't know who I'm rooting for to win. It's me. But it's going to be a good one. And finally, our picks for the week. Last week was ugly. Steelers covered, but the other two were... makes you question your faith in God a little bit. But this week, I am learning my lesson. I'm going back to the well. Last week, I said I am not riding the Broncos and the Commanders anymore. I was punished for my disloyalty. And so I'm returning to the wells with the Commanders on the road against the Falcons. Yes, the Falcons should have a bounce-back game. They did get they did get shut out. Yeah, they did lose 30-0. They should probably put something together at home. But whether or not Jaden Daniels plays in this game, I think Marcus Mariota can run this offense well enough. The defensive front seven of the Commanders looking good. I like the Commanders laying 1.5 on the road against the Falcons. I'll take that. Next, a little honorable mention here. Green Bay opened up as 1.5-point road favorites to the Dallas Cowboys for Micah Parsons' homecoming. It's now gone all the way up to 7. Green Bay are a 7-point road favorite coming off that brutal loss to the Browns. And I got to tell you, I might still take the Green Bay Packers. I know I'm taking the player prop of Micah Parsons to get a sack in this one, but it is not one of my 3 picks for the week. That is going to be a different home dog. That is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the Eagles. They've won the last 2 games these teams have played. And I like the way that this Tampa Bay defense, which is so good against the run, stacks up against the Eagles. I like that it's 3 and the hook. And obviously, I like the fact that we're underdogs at home. Give me Tampa Bay plus 3.5 against the Eagles. And finally, the Denver Broncos. I know, 2 brutal losses, but brutal losses to good teams is kind of what the Denver Broncos have been since last year. But you know what else we've been since last year? A team that absolutely mollywops the teams that we're supposed to. And the Bengals have a terrible offensive line, a quarterback that doesn't look like he's got it together. This should be a game that we win by at least 10 points. Give me the Broncos at home in September at Mile High by 7. Some books out there have it at 7.5. I'll even take it with the hook. I think they're going to win by 10.
I'm going to come.